Okay, so I'm back after my 2-week disappearance. I feel like it's almost been 2 weeks now. Sorry, guys. Sometimes life gets really, just really shitty, and it is what it is, but I'm back, and hopefully it'll be better now. Now that I've kind of tried to sort through my problems. Still don't know what the fuck I'm doing or how to really carry on from this point forward, but we shall move on, because that is the spirit of life. Okay, now that I've given you this short and vague explanation of where I've been, or what's been happening, let's move on to the predictions, guys, because you know what? This week actually should be a good week. I think I think I picked some good picks this week, guys. Let's start off with Zygimantas Ramaska versus Nathan Fletcher. Who are these dudes? Nobody knows. I don't know. I've never seen them before. Probably this is their first time fighting in the UFC. Based off of what I've seen, Ramaska has more vigor in him, which I think will be superior to Nathan's very technical, I'm a good student kind of approach where he just follows the recipe. And sometimes you need to improvise, you know? Nathan Fletcher doesn't seem to be the type of dude that does that. I don't think that'll be a very fitting style for him in this matchup. So, also, Ramaska hasn't ever been submitted, though I also haven't seen him in grappling exchanges, so we'll see how that all goes. But because of all these missing blanks, from what I know, I'm gonna pick Ramaska. I just think he has the more fitting energy to win this fight. Also, his last name means chamomile flower, so that's kind of cool. I don't know. We're picking the flower boy, guys. All right, next up we got Andrade Petroski versus Dylan Budka. Guys, I gotta pick Andrade Petroski. I just think he's more versatile, and I think he's the tougher one out of the two. Dylan Budka will try and get takedowns, even if he's in a wonky position, or if, the achievement of the takedown will put him in a wonky position, he doesn't think. I'm pretty sure he's the one with the nickname the Mindless Hulk, and it's very fitting, because the dude sometimes doesn't think. He just goes and goes and goes. That's not always an ideal approach. And we saw this in his fight with Cesar Almeida, where he just put himself in, such shitty situations, and ultimately got ground and pounded. So, all because of his own faults. It's very frustrating for me to watch that. So I can't pick him, you know. And he also gasses because he puts all of his energy into trying to make it in the first round, trying to get a finish in the first round, it seems. And then by the time the second and third round come around, he's not really, looking the same as he did in the beginning. So I just think Andre is better. He's better on the feet. He's more reliable. He's in his prime. And I think he's going to be able to outmaneuver Dylan Budka in their exchanges. So we're picking Andrade Petroski. Alright, let's move on to Yija versus Gabriel Santos. Guys, so Yija, he's only fought in the Contender Series as of now. And most of his opponents were Asians who do not have that kill or be killed instinct, you know? That, Sean O'Malley has, for instance, you know? And I think this will be a problem for Yija in this fight, because Gabriel Santos has this exact mindset. Just look at Gabriel's fight with David Onama. That was a high-paced fight, constant back and forth exchanges. Gabriel Santos did unfortunately gas towards the end of that fight, which led him to get smashed at the end, but I don't think Yija is going to brawl with him like this, and basically I think this is going to be older bro versus little bro in the octagon. Who's going to win, guys? I think older bro's going to win, and I think older bro in this case is Gabriel Santos. So this will be Yija's UFC debut. We'll see how it goes. I don't think he has the killer instinct based on the Contender fights that I've seen. He's good, he's technical, but he's good technically, but yeah, dude's not there. He's not there to kill. Gabriel Santos is, and Okay. Alright, next up, guys. Felipe Dos Santos versus Andre Lima. I'm excited for this fight, actually. This is, I think, gonna be a good one, and I'm picking Felipe Dos Santos. Because I don't understand the Andre Lima hype. I don't understand why everybody's hyping him up. I don't think he's that amazing. I think he's just been kind of getting glazed by the community since his Severino bite incident, which, like, okay, he's still not that good, but alright, yeah, dude got bit. Interesting. Alright, I mean, also, I think Severino could have very well won that fight had he not chosen to play stupid games, because the dude won the most stupid prize. He could have won. He was doing well, especially like I think it was the second round. I don't know. Going into round 2, he was doing well. He was actually intimidating Andre Lima. You could see like Andre Lima starting to kind of like get flustered and like, you know, be put on the back foot. So yeah, I don't know. Andre Lima won, but Andre Lima knew. I could see the look on his face at the end of that fight. Like, he knew, like, well, thank God this guy bit me, because maybe I would have lost, and then, you know, I wouldn't be undefeated, because he was still undefeated at that point. I think he still is, but don't think he's that good. Also, he, like, cheated many times in that fight with Severino, grabbing the fence. Not cool, dude. I'm just saying. Also, yeah, I think Andre Lima's last fight was with Mitch Raposo. Mitch Raposo is not that intimidating of an opponent, so, like, it was easy for Andre Lima to, you know, step on the gas, because Mitch Raposo is just this kind of dude that you can bully. He wasn't able to do that with Severino, and I view Felipe Dos Santos as kind of like a more mature, better, more grown version of Severino. And if that's the case, then I think Andre Lima's gonna have a tough night coming up. So, oh yeah, and what I wanted to say also about Mitch Raposo and Andre Lima is, dude, Mitch Raposo wasn't putting any pressure on him. It was all Andre Lima, and he won that fight by split decision. Like, what, dude? Like, you couldn't even win against Mitch Raposo. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, split decision, dude. And they probably just gave it to him because they're like, well, he's undefeated. I guess we're gonna give it to that dude. But yeah, you know, I'm not impressed. Andre Lima, he doesn't do well against hunters, like opponents that like to hunt, you know? And I think that Felipe Dos Santos is one of these dudes. I think he's going to give him a really hard time. I think Andre Lima is going to be on the back foot, and he's going to get exposed for being not as good as Felipe Dos Santos. I don't know where I was going with that one. He's still, like, okay. Like, he's fine. He's just, I just don't think he's as good as Felipe Dos Santos. Or at least not in this matchup, you know. I don't think he's as good as Felipe Dos Santos. Anyways. Yeah. Oh, and the last thing I want to say is, like, you guys can say whatever you want, but I think that Severino was slowly breaking him in their fight. I felt it. I felt Andre Lima breaking, and, you know, he probably would have totally cracked had Severino chosen not to fucking take a chunk out of him, but it is what it is. Let's move on. Let's move on to Isaac Dulgarian versus Brendon Marotte. Marotte? Yeah, okay. This dude. Guys, I'm picking Isaac Dulgarian. Brendon's lost to Terrence McKinney. He's aging really badly at this moment in time. I've also seen clips, and this is like the thing that kind of gave it away that this dude is not gonna win. I've seen clips of him grappling, and I don't think he can compete with Isaac Dulgarian in the grappling department at all. So I think the dude's gonna get cooked, guys. I think he's just too soft. He's gonna get finished. I don't know what else to say. Yeah. Alright, let's move on to Jacqueline Amorim versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Jacqueline Amorim all day, guys. Maybe we'll even get a finish in this women's MMA matchup, guys. Maybe we'll get a finish, because Jacqueline Amorim finishes all of her fights. Every single win that she has is a finish. Can't say the same thing for, scraping by decisions, Vanessa Demopoulos. Like, what? Oh, it's just getting free wins. Vanessa getting free wins, Demopoulos. Like, she's somehow been scraping by with, over half of her wins being decisions, which, I mean, I don't know, guys. Her performance against Emily Ducote was just, like, embarrassing. I don't know a more fitting word other than, yeah, it was embarrassing. She looked shit on the feet. And when she got Emily Ducote on the ground, what did she do? She just lay on top of her. And that's what women do sometimes in women's MMA, because they know that if they just lie on top of their opponent, it's fine, and they'll get the win. And that's what Vanessa Demopoulos did. And that's what she will do in this fight as well, because I don't think she has the skills to do anything else. You know what Jacqueline Amorim did in her fight with Montserrat Canejo? What was her name? Montserrat Canejo Ruiz. You know what she did in that fight? When she was underneath, on bottom position, she used her resourcefulness to take the girl's arm, sweep it, reverse position so that she would be on top, and proceed to get a ground and pound. Like a savage. Like, I'm sorry, but this seems like a, night and day situation. Also in her fight with Corey McKenna, the ref was yelling stop when it seemed that Amorim definitely had an armbar, and she kind of let go, but not fully. If this was Vanessa Demopoulos, she would have just fully let go, because she would have heard the stop and been like, oh, I won the fight, or something like this. Jacqueline Amorim kind of let go, but afterwards she still held Corey McKenna's hand, just adjusted the position a little bit, that little somersault. Sorry, these terms are not super technical, but she still got the armbar, guys. With all the the girl looked like she was crying at the end, Corey. I mean, and by the way, with the ref yelling stop, you would think that, maybe she would have stopped and it would have been a verbal, stoppage from the, verbal tap stoppage from the ref, like what happened with Junior Tafa and Walter Walker. But yeah, Amorim, she didn't let go, because she's not a little bitch, She's not just waiting for the ref to say, oh, no, it's all good. No, she fights to the death, apparently. She's hardcore. She knows that it's a life or death situation in there, and she's out there to get the finish. So I'm happy that we're finally going to get a chance to watch a woman fighter that can finish. And I'm glad that Vanessa Demopoulos is finally fighting someone who's going to make her feel like the D-tier fighter that she is. So, alright guys, let's move on to Ryan Spann and Ovince St. Preux. I don't know how to pronounce that dude. So, this is really interesting. OSP was a plus 600 underdog in his previous fight, which he actually won. By split decision, but still he won with that plus 600 underdog price tag. I'm thinking it was probably so high because the dude at this point in time is 41, just mildly ancient. But I feel like this is important information to mention, since I think people get biased when a fighter is over 40. And I think this is one of those cases, because Ryan Spann isn't a really high-paced fighter, so I could totally see him losing. I seriously think this is going to be a matter of, will OSP choose to step on the gas in his 41 years of age? Yeah, that's correct. Will he choose to step on the gas or not? Because if he does, I seriously think he can win. Just like Bogdan Guskov won against Ryan Spann, which was an embarrassing loss for Ryan Spann, if you ask me, but I'm picking the decision for this one. And you know what? Because Ryan Spann lost to Bogdan Guskov and Anthony Smith, I think he's gonna lose to OSP. Because, if you can't keep up with Anthony Smith has demonstrated his abilities recently with Ramandalice. It became very clear what kind of a fighter Anthony Smith is these days, okay? So, yeah, I can't pick Ryan Spann in good faith. Interestingly, he is the favorite here, but I'm sorry, I can't. I'm picking 41-year-old. 41-year-old OSP. Okay? I just think he's better in this matchup. Alright, let's move on to Rong versus Chris Padilla. Okay, so this one's weird. Based on the like limited clips of these guys fighting that I've seen out there, I would say that Rong is the more technical one. The only fights I've seen with Chris Padilla were non-UFC fights, and you guys know how I feel about those. Because they're kind of difficult to like gauge the skill of the fighters. The thing is with these dudes that are really technical, like it's kind of easier to judge how good they are against another very technical fighter, because then it's just like skill versus skill. Whereas when you add the element of like rage, which I don't think a lot of Asians are that angry, and I think anger really helps to win sometimes, controlled anger at least. I don't know. Chris Padilla looks, from what I've seen, he has some I don't even know. I don't know how I'm judging this fight, guys. If Rong can go in there and quietly win, I think he'll be able to do that. I don't know. I'm picking Rong, but I'm also like not condoning you to bet on this fight. All right. Also Rong has 14 KOs. That's another thing. So he has 14 KOs. It must mean something. I mean, they're all against Asian dudes, so it's hard to really tell. But 14 KOs, guys. All right, guys. Let's move on to Trevor Peek versus Yanal Ashmouz. Honestly, I feel like Yanal Ashmouz could win, but I don't think he has the mindset to handle pressure, and I think he'll need to be able to know how to handle pressure if he's fighting Trevor Peek. Trevor Peek can be a little reckless sometimes. He moves forward. He's a high output fighter. Sometimes that leads him to make mistakes and find himself in disadvantageous positions, because I just don't think he's ever like 100% focused. But to be honest, this approach against a guy like Yanal Ashmouz, who gets put on the back foot like this, is fine. Yanal Ashmouz is like a cautious fighter, so that's good. Of course he's trying not to get hit, but he also gets pressured really easily. It's not like he's like so great at defending. Like, instead of maybe perfecting his defense, he just gets put on the back foot. Not ideal, especially when you're fighting Trevor Peek. Like in his fight with Chris Duncan, I think at one point he like injured his hand, so he probably was fighting with even more caution at that point. But even the kicks he was throwing, like, he wasn't landing a bunch of them, probably because he was afraid to get too close, which is understandable, because you don't want to go all in when you have a hand injury. You're not trying to get fucking KO'd immediately. But that's also going to be an issue, because the dude has like really short legs, like unusually short legs. So yeah, we'll see. Like, also, I feel like he lost that fight to Chris Duncan because he was just put on the back foot. But like, had he actually initiated more, I think he could have won. Like, he had the skills to win, but it is what it is, Yeah, I just think he would need a little bit more feist to break Trevor Peek, and to beat Trevor Peek in general. So I think Trevor Peek's gonna win. Could have been Yanal Ashmouz. I think he has the skills to win, but I just don't think he has the mindset, at least in this matchup. So, okay, let's move on to Matt Schnell versus Alessandro Costa. Guys, I'm picking Alessandro Costa. I think Matt Schnell is just way too slow. I feel like he could only win with like an opponent of his same speed or slower. But yeah, the dude is way too slow to be fighting Alessandro Costa. I think he's gonna fall behind and lose to a decision, or just get caught when he's in a state of like focusing on a finish. Because that's what Matt Schnell does, is like he'll focus way too much and just miss like other things. He'll like focus on like his combination, like focus on the shots that he's throwing, and like kind of like sometimes miss what's happening around him. Who did he get brutally KO'd by? I saw him get brutally KO'd by somebody. I don't remember who it was, but it was a fucking crazy KO. Oh, Steve Erceg. I think it was Steve Erceg. Was it the walk-off KO? I don't know, man. but it looked real bad. So I'm not picking Matt Schnell. He's a good fighter, but he's too slow. All right, let's move on to Steve Garcia versus Kyle Nelson. Guys, Steve Garcia is going to win. This isn't gonna be, scrawny Bill Aljo showing up. This is savage Steve Garcia, who has a family to feed, and the dude fights like he has a family to feed. Kyle Nelson, on the other hand, I googled him to find out if he had a family. Apparently he has 2 kids, but he doesn't fight like he has 2 kids. And, he's living the Canadian stereotype. And until I see him showing up to his fights with Jillian Robertson's energy, I will not be picking him because, he's making the Canadian stereotype seem very true right now. So, not picking him, especially when he's fighting a savage like Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia, he's just gonna win. So, sorry, Kyle, but you need to be a little spicier to actually win. You need to actually care a little more to get the finish, or to win the fight. So that's not you in this matchup. So let's move on, guys, to Jessica Andrade versus Natalia Silva. Guys, I'm picking Natalia Silva. Finally, the day has come and Jessica Andrade is fighting someone who is tougher than her. So she's gonna lose. Last time I thought that it was gonna be Marina Rodriguez who was gonna do it, but it turns out Marina Rodriguez, she's not very tough. She kind of fell apart in the octagon, and even in positions where she could have escaped on the ground, she just chose not to. Because here's the thing about Jessica Andrade, when her body starts pumping more adrenaline, instead of becoming more focused, she becomes more sloppy. Very interesting, but it is what happens with her. So there were moments like that in her fight with Marina Rodriguez where I was thinking oh, okay. I mean, she's doing weird things, but this is Marina's chance to get up and turn around. Nope. Didn't happen. See, that's not gonna happen with Natalia Silva because Natalia Silva is a little firecracker. She's not gonna let Jessica Andrade bully her. If anything, she's gonna be the one doing the bullying. She's so freaking fast, and she's tough. She's tough and fast, and she has good grappling. She's just good in every department. It's a terrible matchup for Andrade. Also, Jessica Andrade has had so many fights at this point, so many. I don't know how many exactly, but a lot of them. And each time I see her, I feel like it's gonna be the last. So, and the thing is, I know she's just 32, but she's had so many fights. I don't know how her body's holding up, but I can't imagine that she's feeling all that great. I don't know. I just think that this is Natalia Silva's turn to win, to be honest. I think she's also in her prime. I just think that, yeah, I think the cards are there for Natalia Silva, Jessica Andrade. She's on her way out at this point, I feel like. Especially with this matchup now. Yeah, so Natalia Silva for the win. Alright, guys, now the last fight on the card, the main event. Gilbert Burns versus Sean Brady. Guys, I'm picking Sean Brady. Based on the fact that he ran through Kelvin Gastelum, that dude didn't even give Kevin Gastelum a breath. He didn't give him a chance to take a breath in that fight. He made it look so easy, I don't think he's gonna make this fight look that easy, but I definitely think it'll be a problem for Gilbert Burns. Also, Gilbert is older now. I think he's 38. Sean Brady is stepping into his prime. I just imagine, from what it seems, from what I've seen, I just think Sean Brady is going to find success in those grappling exchanges where JDM couldn't, So I think JDM was a brown belt or something, but he's predominantly a striker. So yeah. And to be honest, I feel like grappling is where Gilbert Burns got most of his points in that fight. And I just don't think it's gonna be the same for him at all in this matchup, especially because Sean Brady's grappling is a lot better than JDM's. So I'm picking Sean Brady. He's the better dude to win this fight. And that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you for making it here to this point in the video. Sorry, I'm feeling a little weird because it's been like 2 weeks, but as you guys know, on this channel we end off each video. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys the picks of the week. I'll just put it in the description. Okay, I'll put it in the description. But it's one of those days, you know. Yeah, I've just been having a rough time with life. Anyway, let's move on to the outro with the bowl, guys. It's been a while since I've done this. I'm actually excited. I feel like I haven't watched UFC in like months, even though it hasn't been that long. But I definitely feel like a little rusty. I just feel weird in general. Is anyone else feeling weird? Weird and sad. It's a regular thing. Nothing new, just sometimes it's worse than others. Sometimes it just feels worse than other times. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching. I'll be dropping my ASMR channel soon. Because I know I've been saying I was going to do that for a while, and I just, like, you know. But I'll drop it soon. And also I'll see you guys possibly on the weigh-ins live if they're going to be doing it. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on Saturday. I'll be live this time, so. Yep, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Yeah.